Hello my guys, and welcome to what is looking like a pretty chill June TBR. Now at the time of filming this, we still have a few days left of May, so anything could happen, but it is a possibility, a very strong possibility right now, that May could end up being my best reading month of the year, or at least very, very close, because I have been on it this month. I've been doing a lot of immersion reading, which really helps with my focus. I've read a bunch of epic fantasy, I've read some stuff that I've really enjoyed, and I am in the mood to read. Typically, when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time reading in the garden, in the sun, and so the nice weather I feel like has really reinvigorated my motivation to read, and I've been spending a lot of time out back with a nice coffee and my book, and that energy I am very much looking forward to carrying into June. Now I only have 5 books that I'm going to be talking to you guys about today, so what I'm really hoping is that with such a limited TBR, June provides me a little time to catch up on some of the books that have slipped through the cracks of my TBR in the last couple of months, but also to maybe work on some video projects that have been lingering in the back of my mind for a little while. Won't be talking about those today though, because I'm not exactly sure which ones I'm going to pursue, if any, because who knows what's going to happen. But the crux of the matter is that your girl really wants to read right now. So rolling right into that TBR, because I have no plans for the month. I have nothing to talk to you guys about really aside from the books. But we will of course start with the important stuff, meaning of course book clubs. I only have one book club book that I need to read in June, and if you guys have been waiting for your time to join my Patreon book club, now is your moment, because the book club that I run over on Patreon is a read-along book club, so we read entire series. It's great for me to hold myself accountable to actually picking up sequels in a timely manner, and I like to extend that courtesy to you guys as well. Obviously I know that that can make it a little bit difficult to jump into the book club if you're joining at like various points, but in June we are going to be starting our new series, which is going to run from next month right until the end of the year. So if you guys have been wanting to read the Kindred's Curse saga by Penn Cole, now is the perfect opportunity to join us. So depending on the length of the book depends how long we take to read it, but because the first book, Spark of the Everflame, is under 500 pages, we will just be taking 1 month to read that one. And the way that my Patreon book club works is that I make a spoilery video for every book in the series. We also have a space to discuss the book as we're reading it on Discord, and then at the end of the series I do a live show discussing the series as a whole. So the Kindred's Curse saga is one that I've heard amazing things about, which, you know, it can go either way with me. Sometimes I agree with the hype, sometimes it doesn't quite click, but I am optimistic about this one. This series is set in a world that is controlled by the children of God. I think they're the Descended, and they have like an iron grip on this society. Our main character is from a small town or a small village, and when her mother disappears, she learns some key secrets about her mother's past, which throws her into the world of the gods, which, given that she's from such a secluded place, she is very unprepared for. And I think the love interest in this series is the son of the king, which that's what the synopsis leads me to believe. Whether that proves to be true in the reading of the series, I guess we're gonna find out. The last book in this series is published in September. I think it's a long awaited finale, and so this is the perfect time for us to be getting into this one. And like I said, it's one that I've heard really good things about. While we're on the subject of Patreon, it is time to pick my May Patreon pick. So this is the Inner Circle book draw, and everyone who is a member of the top tier of my Patreon can recommend a book that goes into this mug, and every month I pull one out and I aim to read it within the couple of months that follow. I've had a few really good additions to this month. Very excited to see what we're gonna pull for June. I'm gonna dive deep for this one. Okay, I have 2 here. Let me just shake one. I've actually got like 4. Okay, this one's blue, which I think means it was added this year. Oh, upside down. That's Beck's pick, but what is it? This is a prompt. This is to read a sequel to a 4 or 5 star read. Oh my God. You can't just spring that on me. Oh, there's just too many good options here. I am gonna give myself 2 options to choose from because I am torn and I can't decide which way to go. Both of these are epic fantasy series though. So the first one that I'm going to throw into the ring is Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. This one is the second book in an indie epic fantasy series that is currently being republished traditionally by The Broken Binding. And I received an arc of the first book. I read that. I gave that like a 3.5 stars, but then I read the novella, and the reading order of this entire series is that you read a core book, a novella, a core book, a novella. So technically the second book I read was the novella, and I gave that 5 stars. It's The Fall, and I loved it. So that has kind of not reinvigorated my interest in this series, because I did enjoy what I read of book 1. I felt like it had a lot of potential. It just wasn't 100% there for me in the first book. But then I read The Fall, and I was like, okay, no, I need to continue, because The Fall is about the past events, like the almost ancient history of this world that has shaped the present day. This one is very classic fantasy in style. It is following a young man who is at the point in his life where societally he is transitioning from a boy into a man. And shortly after he undergoes this trial. And shortly after he passes this trial and is officially recognized as a man, he is thrown into this conflict between the remnants of the Order who used to run this world and the Empire who currently run it. So in the past, the events that are detailed in The Fall, there was a governing body called the Order. They were built of a bunch of different races, so like giants, elves, humans, etc. And they were overthrown by the Empire. However, it is quite universally acknowledged that this is an unfair rule, and the remnants of the Order, like a rebellion group, are looking to overthrow the Empire and restore order. Pun kind of intended, I guess. My second option is Sisters of the Lizard by Jackson Ford, because at the beginning of May, I did a reading vlog where I read all of the books that Fairy Loot had featured in their epic fantasy subscription so far and gave my thoughts. And actually, surprisingly, my favorite book, I did not expect this. I thought this would be my least favorite book of the subscription, but my favorite book was The Bone Readers by Jackson Ford. It had a little humor in it, which I was unsure about, but I actually really ended up enjoying. And the sequel, I've heard, is actually quite dark, which you know is right up my alley. But this one is following a raider clan who live in this vast landscape called the Tapestry, and there is a Khan who is trying to create a city, and so he's been taking all of the clans and all of the small villages and bringing them all forcibly pretty much into the city, which is essentially just full of slums because they don't have the infrastructure to support all of these people. It's not a great place to live, and the Ricarda, who are the raiding clan we're following, do not want to live in the city. However, because of all of this upheaval, there has been a change in, let's say, the species that are roaming around the Tapestry, and the giant fire-breathing lizards that used to live up in the mountains are having to travel further down into the Tapestry to hunt for food because the Khan is taking away their natural hunting grounds. And so the Ricarda come face to face with these fire-breathing lizards, and they decide that they would like to harness that power and learn how to ride them so that they can fight back against the Khan, because it's only a matter of time until they're confronted with a band of the Khan's forces that are going to be too big for them to fight back against. Thank you so much, Beck, for that prompt. That is very, very exciting. I just have a couple of arcs that are released in June. One that I am so excited about is Kissed by the Gods by Katie Rogan. Thank you so much to Galanx for sending this one my way. It is absolutely stunning, and I have heard amazing things about the world building and the magic in here specifically, which is super interesting to me because I'm always down for romantasy that has a really strong fantastical foundation, also with romance, as opposed to it being more romance forward. So I definitely hope that's what I'm going to be getting in this one. Once again, set in a world that is ruled by the gods, and for some reason the gods take teenage boys to the mines, and I don't know what they're mining for, but they're forcibly taken. It's kind of a conscription like basis, and when they come for our main character's brother, she kills all of the soldiers that try to take her little brother from her. She obviously thinks that she is going to be captured and killed for this. However, I think he's like a god-touched warrior is how he's described, comes to take her to a goddess that then blesses her, and she becomes a coveted figure in this world because she's received the divine blessing of a goddess. And this one is released on the 4th of June, so very, very soon. And then for the 18th of June, I have a very very intriguing release from Penguin Michael Joseph. So thank you so much to Penguin Michael Joseph for sending me an arc of If Books Could Kill by Kate Eberly. This one is so intriguing to me because it has a romantic nature to it, but also a suspense element, because this is following a character who wants to be written as the heroine of her favorite author's newest book, and she's given this opportunity. She goes on this whirlwind first date with this perfect guy, and then he tries to kill her, and she realizes that her favorite author is actually writing a thriller this time. I am really intrigued to see how this one plays out, because it says biggest romance debut of 2026. We obviously also have that suspense edge, so I don't know whether this would be categorized as romantic suspense. I don't know if it's kind of like a silly, goofy, almost rom-com kind of situation where, you know, he's trying to kill her, but they actually fall in love. I also don't know how the element of being written into the pages of a book is going to work. Is that a fantastical thing? Is she kind of role-playing as the muse for her author? I have no idea, but I'm really excited to find out. And then the final book I have lined up for June is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, that is right. I am going to be rereading this entire series before the release of book 6 in October. Not only am I going to be rereading it though, I'm also going to be providing you guys with recap videos for the entire thing. So if you guys are newer to my channel, you may not know how much of a fangirl of Sarah J. Maas I have been in the past. Now, I don't talk about her quite as much anymore because having been such a huge fan of her books and her being my favorite author of all time, I was very, very disappointed by the second and third book in the Crescent City series. Like, to the point where I almost feel like it's a personal attack how much I did not like those books. But I'm always going to be picking up the next MASH release. I hope that this is just a dip and that eventually we're going to get better and we're going to kind of get back to the quality that I am familiar with from Sarah J. Maas. The epic plot lines, the intricacy of a multiverse, the heart-wrenching romance. Whether ACOTAR 6 and 7 are going to deliver that, honestly, in this moment, I am not entirely hopeful. But all of this does not diminish my love for the ACOTAR series, the Throne of Glass series, and also House of Earth and Blood. And in the past, I've actually made recap videos for both House of Earth and Blood and House of Sky and Breath. So with the new ACOTAR releases coming, I thought that this would be a really good time for me to not only reread the series, which I was going to do regardless, but while I'm rereading, I may as well make those recap videos for you guys for this series as well. I'm also going to be annotating the series as I go, which, as it's one of my favorite series of all time and I've reread it multiple times, I think is going to be a really fun experience. I don't know if I'm going to film that though. I think I'm just going to do the recap videos in the style of the two that I've already done, and the plan is to post a recap video every month from now until October. I then may go back, if it's super relevant, if we're doing multiverse stuff, I may go back and do a recap of House of Flame and Shadow, which I don't particularly want to do because I don't want to reread it, but if you guys want it, I'll do it for you guys. And then before the release of ACOTAR 7, I will try to do, because ACOTAR 6 is supposed to be short, right? So I'll try and reread that again, even though I just read it, and give you guys a recap. I can't do recaps the first time around. I can only do them on reread. It's just the way I work. But anyway, if you guys are unfamiliar with this series, I mean, I doubt you are at this point, but this one is a fae romance series following a young woman who is providing for her family. Her father is injured, so he can't work, and they are falling on hard times. Her sister's pretty much useless. So she is the person who hunts for their food. She sells the skins for anything else that they might need, and it's winter. And she's desperate, and she goes out into the woods and she sees this wolf and she thinks, oh my, that is a big wolf. That could be a fae shapeshifter. But you know, the fae, they don't really actually exist. And she kills the wolf. And lo and behold, the fae actually do exist. And the fae lord of the Spring Court appears from the fairylands, and she expects him to kill her on sight. But instead, he takes her to the fairylands, and she is to live out the rest of her days on this estate in Eternal Spring with only the Fey Lord for company. So those are all of the books that I hope to read in June, as well as, of course, Spark of the Everflame, and also Sisters of the Lizard or of Darkness and Light. I really want to carry on with the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Carhill because I don't want it to get to a point where I have to reread to continue. But then I also indulged myself a little bit in Orbit's 50% sale, and I did pick up a copy of Sisters of the Lizard, which is going to be coming in really soon. So we'll see which one of those I get to, but I will be adding them to whichever one I pick to my very modest stack that I have here. Down in the comments, let me know what you guys are reading in June. Also, let me know if you've read any of these books and if you guys would recommend them. And if you guys would like to let me know that you were here but you don't feel like you have anything to say, go ahead and leave me a rose emoji for ACOTAR. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, my Patreon, or my TikTok if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.